The illusion of infinite endurance. Why Tehran's Bluff is nearing its expiration date, July 24th, 2026. In the wake of ongoing military exchanges, diplomatic standoffs, and maritime friction across the Strait of Hormuz, a vocal chorus of commentators has emerged asserting that Iran is somehow emerging stronger than before the war. Proponents of this view point to Tehran's ability to choke off a vital global transit route, its relentless maximalist rhetoric, and its refusal to sign permanent ceasefires as evidence of an unyielding, resilient power. Yet, confusing tactical leverage with strategic endurance is a lethal flaw in geopolitical analysis. Militarily, Tehran's current posture is undeniably shrewd. By weaponizing unpredictable strikes, utilizing proxy friction points like the Houthis, and loudly projecting an unwillingness to yield, the regime is attempting to artificially inflate the perceived cost of Western pressure. They are gambling that the global oil volatility will panic Western powers into granting immediate economic concessions. Behind the wall of fiery state media proclamations, however, lies the mechanical reality of a country burning through its last reserves. Tehran is not acting from a position of renewed strength. It is running a high-stakes, time-sensitive bluff designed to extract favorable terms before its internal engine suffers total systemic failure. 1. The macroeconomic dam, hyperinflation, and total export paralysis. A nation cannot subsidize a prolonged war effort or placate a hostile domestic population when its primary source of income drops to zero. Following the implementation of the U.S. naval blockade, Iranian crude exports, which previously hovered around 2.1 million barrels per day, collapsed toward zero. Monthly export revenues dropped from multi-billion-dollar pre-war baselines to negligible trickles. The internal fallout has been immediate and catastrophic. Currency freefall. The Iranian rial has plummeted to historic lows of 1.8 to 1.9 million per US dollar. Hyperinflation on basic staples. Year-on-year inflation estimates have surged beyond 68 to 88%, with essential items like bread, grains, and meat experiencing price spikes exceeding 100 to 140%. Industrial shortages and blackouts. Extensive physical damage to industrial facilities combined with rolling power blackouts and bank failures, such as the collapse of Bank Noor and Ayenda Bank, has hollowed out the productive economy. An army marches on its stomach, and a state runs on its balance sheet. Tehran's economic floor is falling through, creating an internal clock that ticks far faster than Washington's. 2. Breaking the bow, the loss of conventional and proxy deterrence. The second pillar of the Iran is stronger argument assumes the regime maintains its forward defense shield. In reality, the physical mainstay of Tehran's force projection, the bow, has been hairline fractured. While Iran can rapidly assemble low-cost, short-range attack drones and unguided artillery rockets from stockpiled parts, its heavy offensive leverage has been systematically stripped. Proxy decapitation. Israel and Western forces have heavily neutralized Iran's primary forward deterrence networks across the Levant and the surrounding region, forcing Tehran to fight its battles without its traditional forward buffer. Conventional surface degradation. Major coastal air defenses, maritime surveillance networks, and heavy surface assets along the Gulf have been decimated. Operating from deep underground bunkers, Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei and his military commanders can issue fiery written decrees, but issuing threats from a bunker is a posture of survival, not domain dominance. 3. The narrative panic, a fractured leadership. Perhaps the clearest indication that Tehran's maximalist rhetoric is a bluff is the chaotic narrative struggle occurring inside the state apparatus. As President Masoud Pezeshkian and civilian pragmatists attempt to signal a willingness to open diplomatic channels to save the crashing economy, hardline Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps factions have moved to aggressively censor those exact diplomatic signals on state television. When a government censors its own president mid-speech to prevent the public from learning that negotiations were authorized, it reveals a profound internal panic. The hardline gatekeepers want the financial breathing room provided by a temporary de-escalation. but they are terrified that admitting weakness publicly will shatter the remaining ideological veneer holding their base together. The expiration date on the Bluff. Weaponizing the Strait of Hormuz and projecting an air of infinite hostility is a classic asymmetric move. When you hold a weak hand, you make your posture as volatile and expensive for your opponent as possible. However, a bluff only succeeds if you can hold your breath longer than the party across the table. With hundreds of millions of barrels of crude trapped behind a physical blockade, a collapsing currency, and a population pushed to the brink by hyperinflation, Tehran's endurance is a finite illusion. Iran is not refusing ceasefires because it is winning. It is posturing aggressively to buy time and secure a lifeline before the economic dam breaks completely. Eyes open. The Mercer Ledger is an independent reader-supported platform. You can back our work at ko-fi.com/WEMercer. That's ko-fi.com/WEMERCER. And thanks for listening.